In February 2025, amongst a busy schedule of trade wars, aggressively downsizing the federal government, and offering to buy Greenland, US President Donald J. Trump found time to invite Tiger Woods to the White House. Woods was there, wearing his Presidential Medal of Freedom given to him by Trump in 2019, alongside the PGA Tour's Commissioner Jay Monahan and Yasser El-Rumayyan, Governor of Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, the Public Investment Fund. They were there trying to heal the gaping wound that had bitterly divided golf since 2021, the aggressive and acrimonious attempted takeover of the game by the Saudi state-funded LIV Golf Breakaway League. LIV Golf was first launched in October 2021 as an alternative to golf's stuffy, old and out-of-touch appearance. LIV Golf would be played over 54 holes in 3 days rather than 72 in 4. A team element was introduced, as well as shotgun starts, meaning that the players all started simultaneously around the course. There would be music and drama. Golf but louder was the maxim. And the money would be fabulous. Prize money was doubled, sometimes tripled. The top players were offered incredible money to join. Woods was reportedly offered $800 million to sign up, although he turned it down. And LIV Golf would be headed up by Greg Norman, the combative Aussie legend, and the money would come from Saudi Arabia's PIF with El-Rumayyan as chair, the same role he holds at Football Club Newcastle United in the Premier League. LIV would play in a league format with many tournaments staged at Trump-owned golf courses, a potential conflict of interest that had at one point piqued the interest of the US Department of Justice. But you see, the problem was that a successful and lucrative golf tour already existed, the PGA Tour in North America. And they were furious. Monahan threatened to effectively ban any players from PGA Tour events if they signed up for LIV, which would make it virtually impossible for those players to qualify for any of golf's 4 major tournaments. The choice for players on both the PGA and European tours was stark: the chance of earning life-changing money or building a genuine legacy in golf. And the players were split. Many, like Sergio Garcia, signed up. Rory McIlroy became a vocal opponent of LIV, decrying the greed. And many others pointed to the moral aspects of playing in a Saudi-funded league, but they weren't the first sports people to be faced with this choice. You see, ever since King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud ascended to the throne in 2015 and later appointed his favourite son Mohammed bin Salman, known by his initials MBS, as Crown Prince, Saudi Arabia has undergone a rapid and remarkable transformation as part of MBS's so-called Vision 2030 project to diversify Saudi Arabia away from its reliance on revenues generated by its vast oil reserves. On the one hand, women in Saudi Arabia can now drive, work, and mix with men in public. Huge concerts are now held every weekend in a country that banned music being played in public, even in restaurants, until 2018. But on the other, dissenting voices have been crushed. Mild criticism of the Crown Prince can lead to decades in jail, or in the case of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, murder. Freedom of speech is virtually zero. And sport has been the forward operating base of Saudi Arabia's cultural revolution. Tens of billions of dollars have been spent investing in sports from boxing to chess to football. 80% of Newcastle's 2021 takeover was funded by the PIF. And golf was next. The first LIV Golf event was scheduled to take place in the UK in the summer of 2022. Phil Mickelson had been offered a reported $200 million to join and was to be the star name to front the new project. But he made some incendiary comments to golf writer Alan Shipnuck, which almost torpedoed the whole thing. We know they killed Khashoggi and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all of this, why would I even consider it? Well, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. Mickelson took a step back, but returned as the tournament went ahead with some big names on board, including Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, and Patrick Reed. In the US, those golfers were heavily criticised by Terry Strada, the chair of 9/11 Families United, who lost her husband in the attack. You see, 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudis, and Strada has been involved in a long-running legal battle to uncover whether officials in the Saudi government knew about the attack beforehand, an accusation the Saudi government has strenuously denied. Whether it was the appeal of millions of dollars of hard cash, or just the opportunity to prosecute your professional grievances with the PGA, you have sold us out. This is a betrayal not only of us, but of all your countrymen, Strada said. Now, at the first LIV press conference, the players were brutally quizzed by the press. Mickelson was asked about being a Saudi stooge, and whether what was, quote, good for the game of golf could make up for Khashoggi's murder. Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood were asked pointedly whether they would play in Vladimir Putin's Russia if the money was right. But the tournament itself went ahead. Won by Charles Schwartzel, who claimed the $4 million prize money, $1.3 million more than he'd have got for winning the Masters that year. And then more players defected, like Brooks Koepka and John Rahm. But the product didn't match the price tag. Few spectators showed up, few watched it on TV, and the tournaments had an exhibition match feel about them. The players that switched to LIV were eviscerated on social media. The PGA Tour suspended 17 players, but LIV Golf was up and running. Multiple lawsuits were launched against the PGA Tour, funded by the PIF, and the players were at each other's throats. McIlroy had once been a groomsman at Garcia's wedding, and now they weren't even talking. And then in June 2023, a shocking announcement was made. The two sides had sued for peace. The PGA Tour recognised that the Saudi money could engulf them, and an outline agreement was made to somehow reunify golf. A US Senate inquiry was launched, demanding to know more about why Saudi Arabia wanted to buy a piece of prime US cultural real estate. But the re-election of Trump last year, a big supporter of LIV, meant that the writing was already on the wall. 18 months after the PGA Tour and LIV Golf went into talks, there was still no final agreement. Trump promised he would close a deal between the two sides in 15 minutes, which is why both parties and Woods were in the White House. Monahan and Al Rumayyan have both said that a deal to end the Gulf War is close. But one important lesson was learned. In sport, almost nothing can stop Saudi money and state power.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to the best team of sports writers, reporters, and analysts in the world, offering exclusive stories and unrivaled insight. You could try The Athletic for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.